Broadcasts of HIKI No are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo. And by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI No.
Welcome to a special all-middle school edition of HIKI No. Coming up next, we'll go to Kauai to see how one school is turning its student artwork into a community favorite event.
We'll tell you why some Hawaii students spent time battling back an overgrown garden in California.
And meet an Oahu teacher who's tackling the misconceptions about a common disease one cupcake at a time.
A Maui middle school first is taking its music to the streets, thanks to a former Marine who's striking up the band in Makawao.
Plus, meet a student who's not letting a challenging physical condition and a lifetime of bullying keep her down.
We dig into a new on-campus garden where academic and natural lessons are thriving with students.
And find out how middle school students are getting ready and even excited to enter the big world of high school.
That's next on the nation's first statewide student news network, HIKI No.
Can do.
The first school in this all-middle school edition of HIKI No is located in the town of Kahului in central Maui. Maui Waena Intermediate School is growing, with the construction of this new 9-classroom STEM building on campus. This building was first slated to be built in 2007, but permitting issues and other problems kept it in limbo for 7 years. After our story on HIKI No about this delay, it got back on track and will soon provide much-needed classroom space for our more than 1,100 students. The new building will have science labs, a computer lab, and a STEM lab featuring a sound room and plenty of space for robotics and other STEM-related activities. Sometimes, the most rewarding lessons aren't taught in a classroom. That's what a team of Maui Waena students learned on their trip to the mainland.
On March 24, 2015, 24 students from Maui Waena Intermediate School began their journey to Student Television Network's annual convention held this year in San Diego, California. The students were excited about seeing the zoo and playing the snow, but this year, the students decided that they wanted to do something a little different.
When we went to STN 2014, we actually shot a video at the Church of Nazarene. And what the video was about was college students from around the country came to the Church of Nazarene and built caskets for the infants. When we were in the car, I went up to Mrs. Suzuki. I was like, we should do community service next year so we can give back.
And that's exactly what the students did when they arrived in San Diego. Volunteer.
Has it been 4 or 3 hours?
Today they've been working out in the hot sun on a hillside helping us clean up our Australian garden here that's been in the park for over 45 years, but it's sort of fallen on hard times.
The group worked for nearly 6 hours in Balboa Park and cleared about half an acre of weeds and invasive plants in the city's largest urban park.
I've been a park ranger in Balboa Park for 20 years and I've rarely seen a group work harder than the FE2 group all the way from Hawaii did today.
I experienced hard work, and to me, hard work is commitment. And commitment is putting your project first. Just sticking to something alone is just a great deal for us.
Their effort to help the community did not end at Balboa Park. The next 2 mornings, the group woke up at 4 a.m. to prep food and serve breakfast to more than 300 homeless people at the largest homeless shelter in the city, Father Joe's Village. This took about 3.5 hours each day.
People have a vision or an assumption of what is homeless or what homeless people look like, and what I've learned is that homeless people are of all kinds of ways and walks.
I thought they would be like all mean stuff, all grumpy. But now that I see family, like they have found me and they're like all kind to us, like that changed my perspective. And that really opened me to doing this more often.
After the volunteering, the actual competition began. Maui Waena entered 9 video contests. The team took home 3 first places, 1 third place, and 2 honorable mentions. Even though they are proud, the students remember the days of giving back as their favorite moments in San Diego.
I'm so proud of their accomplishments at the contest, but I'm really more proud of the people they're becoming. You know, it's our goal in our program to have them be better thinkers, better communicators, but most of all, just better people. And by, integrating this community service into our projects and into our trips, I think it's going to become habit for them, and it's going to help them to do this throughout their life. And we'll definitely be doing it next year.
You did an amazing job today.
This is Maya Del Cruz from Maui Waena Intermediate School for HIKI No.
HIKI No is now on Instagram. For show updates and a peek behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram at HIKI No Can Do.
We're here on the campus of Waipahu Intermediate, the next school in this all-middle school edition of HIKI No. The beautiful greenery you see all around us are the work of one man, Mark Tuarahara. Mr. Tuarahara taught at Waipahu Intermediate School as a social studies teacher for 18 years, but also volunteered his time to plant the bushes and trees students admire when passing from class to class. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2010. To honor his wonderful contributions to our campus, Waipahu Intermediate established the Mark Tuarahara Award and Scholarship. The award and $300 scholarship is given at our annual awards ceremony to a student who has shown excellence in service to the school and community. Another Waipahu Intermediate teacher is proving to be an inspiration in the classroom and out by using his personal challenge to teach others about a commonly misunderstood disease.
An aspirin for his heart, and 2 shots to control his sugar level. That's how a Waipahu Intermediate teacher, Mr. Jared O'Sherrill, starts every morning.
I wake up in the morning, I have to test my blood sugar. I would take the medication, wait half an hour, and then I would eat breakfast of some kind of sandwich or oatmeal.
And that's just the beginning of a day in the life of a diabetic. He was first diagnosed with type 2 diabetes at the age of 43. At first, he just needed to take 4 pills, 2 in the morning and 2 at dinner time. As his condition worsened about 2 years ago, Mr. Sherrill had to add pure insulin. His diabetes became too difficult to control.
I take almost 100 milligrams of it. I would take about 18 in the morning of the fast and the long-term insulin. At dinner time, I'll take the fast one again, about 20 milligrams, and then at night, I'll take about 55 milligrams, so it's for the long term.
It's all necessary to avoid high blood sugar. The effects of having high blood sugar is nausea and vomiting, increased thirst, frequent urination, fatigue, shortness of breath, stomach pain, and dry mouth. In the long term, high blood sugar can lead to kidney damage, eye trouble, or even the loss of a foot or leg. For Mr. Sherrill, even his everyday choices are crucial to his health condition.
So I have to keep it always monitored of what I eat and how much I eat, and to have a balance of everything.
What can be just as challenging as monitoring every single thing he eats is combating the misconceptions people have about diabetes. Just eating a donut won't send him to the hospital. But with diabetes, even simple gestures are not always so simple.
3 students came to my classroom during recess and delivered a cupcake to me. So one of the students dropped it off on my desk and started walking back to her friends. Her friends were yelling at her saying, "Don't you forget Mr. Sherrill's diabetic."
Even with the challenges, Mr. Sherrill is able to keep one thing constant, his sense of humor.
If you have lemons, then a person will make lemonade. But for a diabetic, when you get lemons, you make lemonade with Splenda, and Splenda is a substitute sugar.
Humor lets people know their mistakes are okay, and that he's okay with his condition that presented him daily consequences. Consequences that taught Mr. Sherrill about himself.
Basically taught me how to not to give up. It's a multi-marathon that never ends. Diabetes is an everyday battle. I have to make choices, and hopefully I do make the right choices.
It's through positive choices and a positive attitude that Mr. Sherrill keeps life sweet. This is Sienna Ipuolani from Waipahu Intermediate for HIKI No.
The next school in this all-middle school edition of HIKI No is Lahaina Intermediate School. Every year, we host the biggest and oldest middle school volleyball tournament on the island of Maui, here at Lahaina Civic Center. This year, for the 30th annual Lahaina Intermediate Volleyball Tournament, 8 schools with a total of 20 teams competed. The 2-day event is run by a large group of our teachers, staff, administrators, and volunteers from the community. On campus, Lahaina students are growing into a new program that truly is green. Something new appeared at Lahaina Intermediate School this year. Volunteer group Grow Some Good, along with students and staff, are tending their first on-campus garden. All who are participating are enjoying the learning they're getting by working outside.
We have planted a variety of vegetables. We have planted kale, broccoli, cabbage, carrots, tomatoes, and eggplant. And then we have also planted some canoe plants, the turmeric, the koa, and we'll plant uala or sweet potato next week.
On my favorite day in the garden, we planted smaller plants around the banana leaf tree because it helps the tree grow better, and we learned how to plant it properly.
Yeah, I like gardening. I mean, whenever we have to shovel and rake, it's a good experience to just show how nature does its thing. And
my favorite things to do in the garden would have to be, I guess, seeing all the different things in it and helping plant them, because it's just cool to look at everything and to learn how to do it.
My biggest surprise about the kids in the garden would be how much they're into it. Some of these kids, you put a shovel in their hand and I've never seen them work so hard. They get into it. It's a classroom that's alive, and it's stuff that you can't learn from a book.
Teaching my kids about the garden is, this unit we're learning about the early Pacific Islanders, because I teach ancient civilizations, and a huge part of any civilization is their agriculture. So I thought it would be fun to have my students come and learn about the agriculture of the early Hawaiians. So Tricia has used the Hawaiian moon calendar for planting and fishing. So every lesson we learn a little bit more about that, and then we plant whatever it tells us to plant for that day.
Some experts say within 5 days, if the barges stop coming to Hawaii, the entire state of Hawaii has nothing to sustain itself in 5 days, and that's scary. So bringing the kids out in our garden is important for them to understand that, you know, you can grow your own food and you don't have to depend on what's coming in from outside.
The garden is teaching me personally how we can all work together to contribute to something positive in not only in our community, but in our bodies and our minds and in the growth of our students.
This is Rory Delaney from Lahaina Intermediate School for HIKI No.
We are now back on Oahu at Waianae Intermediate School, the next stop in our all-middle school edition of HIKI No. Waianae Intermediate first opened its doors in 1966 and now has an enrollment of 900 7th and 8th graders from neighborhoods stretching from Nanakuli to Makaha. For almost 45 years, we were the home of the Menehunes, but in 2010, Waianae Intermediate School changed its mascot to the Junior Sea Riders, so we could strengthen our link to Waianae High School, home of the Sea Riders. Everyone on campus is unique, but a Waianae Intermediate Students Challenge has made her a target and a survivor.
I need better friends.
Waianae Intermediate School 7th grader, Teresa Clark, is just one of the girls when she's hanging out with her friends, but she has a medical condition that often makes her stand out in a crowd.
My condition is left hemiplegic cerebral palsy.
Hemiplegia is a type of cerebral palsy that results from damage to the part of the brain that controls muscle movements. For Teresa, hemiplegia affected the right side of her brain, which resulted in the left side of her body being weakened.
One of the most obvious effects cerebral palsy had on me was that I walk with a limp. I walk with a limp because my left leg is shorter than my right leg.
Her limp was even more obvious when she was younger, and it made her a target for bullies.
In elementary school, I was physically bullied. I was kicked, tripped, pushed downstairs, slammed into doors, and people would throw things at me. In intermediate school, the bullying turned verbal. People would call me names like crippled, disabled, handicapped, and limpy.
A series of surgeries is working to correct her condition, and the support of her family and friends has helped her stay positive through it all.
I think I had somewhere from 5 to 10 surgeries on my left leg alone. I've had to wear casts.
It doesn't really bother me because she's still my friend. It doesn't matter how she is on the outside because on the inside, she's the nicest person you'll ever meet.
Another surgery may correct her slight limp for good. But even if it doesn't, Teresa's not letting it hold her back.
No, I'm seriously really trying. This is actually really hard. If the doctors couldn't fix my limp, I think I'd be fine because I know I should be judged on the content of my character and not on my outer appearance. I like standing out, and those who are my real friends will stand out with me.
This is Amy Nevis from Waianae Intermediate School for HIKI No.
Kapa'a Middle School is our next stop on our all-middle school edition of HIKI No. Art is a creative expression often used to please the eye. On the doors of every classroom on campus, there are pieces of art created by former art teacher Miss Morris and her students. These were painted on as a gift to commemorate the school's beginning. Meant to symbolize the creative ideas of our students, each strip also shows school pride and unity through the many characteristics incorporated within. That's just one way Kapa'a Middle School showcases creativity in our community. Our next story takes you to a special annual event that's all about music, media, and art.
Bright colors, inspired students, expressive artwork, creative performances, supportive parents. These are all things you will see at Kapa'a Middle School's annual elective night.
This is a good opportunity for students to showcase their talents and what they've learned throughout the year in the different elective classes.
There's a lot of great performances. The music and choir ukulele band comes out and puts on a show. There's a lot of artwork from the different art classes and also creative media projects on display.
It was just another boring day at Farley Elementary School.
Elective night has been going on since the school opened in 1997. From then on, it has continued to grow in the number of participating elective classes, the attendance, and the number of different activities. However, one thing has remained consistent: the sense of communion and school pride.
It's really a great chance for the community to come out and celebrate the work that students have accomplished in their different elective classes. We seem to be so focused on the core classes, math, English, science, and social studies, but there's so much creativity in addition that comes out in the elective classes.
I really enjoy the different artwork that is displayed and the different showcase as far as the chorus and ukulele and the media team especially.
To make elective night so special, it requires the hard work of many teachers and students working together.
We just finished up a tile project that we've been glazing, and we folded pages of a book to make it look like words.
I end up putting in a lot of work outside of school to bring some computers down to the library so we can show a lot of the media projects that my kids have completed.
My class will be setting up refreshments and poo-poos that will be distributed out for the parents to enjoy, as well as the teachers and the students.
We all know that middle school can be hard with all the pressure from core classes, but electives can relieve some of that stress.
I know that middle school can be tough. The kids are working really hard, so it's nice to take the time and celebrate what they've done and show off their accomplishments so that their parents and the community can come see. The whole purpose of making artwork is so that you can show it to others.
I think it's really important to celebrate the students' accomplishments, and doing this in a creative and interactive environment is a really great time.
Elective night is a great celebration that Kapa'a Middle School plans to continue for years to come. This is Sophia Rodriguez from Kapa'a Middle School, reporting for HIKI No.
We are now in Salt Lake on the island of Oahu for our next school in our all-middle school edition of HIKI No. Aliamanu Middle School is located just a mile away from Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam, which explains why more than 70% of its students are military dependents. Interestingly enough, about a third of the faculty and staff have some connection with the military too. These include military dependents, reservists, and retired or active duty personnel. Their experiences have helped them to better understand what many of their students are going through. Transitions are a big part of school life. We find out how one student is working towards turning the anxiety of going into high school into excitement.
High school. These 4 years bring a lot of new experiences. Prom, homecoming, clubs, and new relationships. But for 8th graders preparing for their freshman year, the near future can be intimidating.
I'm kind of nervous.
Kind of scared.
It's going to be a little difficult. Kind of nerve-wracking.
On the other hand, there are others who have a different outlook on their upcoming freshman year.
Actually, I'm really excited to go to high school.
Shanna Francisco will be entering Radford High School as a member of the class of 2019.
What I'm most excited about going to high school is getting to know the people there. Because when you move to high school, it usually means that there's more people there, and then I always have this feeling like, yes, I should get to know these people.
She has prepared herself for high school by being involved in various school activities. Some of these include band, AVID, which is a college readiness program, and student body government.
I'm actually in student body government right now, and usually in the past we've been like planning lots of things, and it's usually good to have these ideas, and you can like share them with people who also want to like share their ideas. Band has taught me like several things, like working with people. It's also not just working with other people, it's also being dedicated.
She'll continue this plan of action as she enters high school by having a look at various campus organizations.
I think it's good to open up and go look at different clubs. Like there's a bunch, like there's a Filipino club, there's even a Korean club, there's a Japanese club. So there's like a bunch of clubs, and I think I'll join like 1 or 2.
It seems as though she's on the right track. Mr. Kapuni Pacho, the freshman advisor at Radford High School, shares what often works for students to make the adjustment to high school.
Be open-minded. Be open-minded. I think it's, don't try to be fearful to think that it is a huge step from 8th grade to 9th grade. This year, I think freshmen have won majority of a lot of the competitions. So it shows that when you're open-minded and you're willing to put out work, that regardless if you come in as a newbie, you still can outcome and achieve a lot of goals.
This fits in with Shanna's philosophy on life.
Usually when you get to do things that you've never done, it's like, okay, this is off my to-do list. So it's good to always try and try more so you won't have regrets in the future, like, oh, why didn't I try swimming out? It looks so much fun. So things like that.
Every student has their own thoughts on this big transition to high school. Whether you're scared, nervous, or even excited, one thing's for certain: this will be a great new journey. This is Calissa Smith from Aliamanu Middle School for HIKI No.
Welcome to the island of Maui, on the Seabury Hall campus located in upcountry Makawao. It is our next stop in our all-middle school edition of HIKI No. Every Seabury Hall 8th grader is required to do a year-long project that includes a research paper and a physical project on a topic of his or her choice. Every student must work with a mentor who is a professional in the chosen field, then present their projects to classmates, teachers, and members of the community. Another unique program at Seabury Hall gets both students and audiences on their feet. It's our middle school marching band, and it's all thanks to one teacher's passion for music and military precision.
Seabury Hall is the only middle school on Maui with a marching band, and it's all thanks to a teacher who took an unusual path through the director's podium.
I grew up on the south side of Chicago, and it's way different than Maui. Quite honestly, when I was a kid, this is what I envisioned heaven to be like.
Mr. Richie Franco has been the Seabury Hall band teacher for the last 9 years, but teaching music wasn't always his ultimate goal. Right after graduating from high school in Chicago, Mr. Franco enlisted with the Marines.
The biggest thing about boot camp is it's nothing but drill. You march everywhere, and the main thing about it is the discipline.
After serving 4 years in the military, Mr. Franco returned to Chicago and worked as an entertainer in a Latino band.
My band Own It, we played pretty much every bar in Chicago. Any music venue in Chicago we played. One of the biggest and best was the Double Door.
His love of music inspired him to want to teach, so at the age of 36, Mr. Franco went back to school to earn a degree in music education. Mr. Franco's first teaching job was at an inner-city Chicago middle school.
And you had to go through metal detectors to get in. Then I came to Seabury, and it was kind of night and day.
However, when Mr. Franco started teaching at Seabury in 2006, he found that the challenges of teaching middle school are the same no matter where one teaches.
But in middle school, it's really hard to have that discipline. So that's one of the main reasons why they don't have marching band in middle school, just because of all the focus that it entails.
Seabury did not have a marching band, but Mr. Franco thought that could change. He brought his experience with military and music discipline to the field.
The discipline you get in the Marines is what I've passed on to my kids, to the middle school marching band.
Up, down, up, down.
Mr. Franco assigned me the role of being a leader of my section. I needed to act as a role model so that other people can try and follow me.
Mr. Franco taught me better techniques for playing my trumpet, and I learned how to play and march at the same time, and I gained a deeper love for music.
Marching band has changed, not just the students, but Mr. Franco as well. We asked him what has been his most effective teaching method.
I honestly used to think it was yelling, and I'm very ashamed of that. It's being compassionate and showing the kids you do understand. So it's just being patient and sympathetic with them and letting them know it's not easy.
The Seabury Hall Marching Band plays at school, sporting events, and community parades. They are most proud of their performance in the Honolulu Festival Grand Parade.
It was just so cool because it was a huge parade, and for a mile, the streets were lined with people. They played, and you would never know the beginning from the end because they sounded just as strong at the end as they did in the beginning. That made me very proud.
Thanks to Mr. Franco, we all look forward to every special event that our marching band plays at. This is Lucas DiMartino from Seabury Hall Middle School for HIKI No.
Well, we've come to the end of this episode of HIKI No.
Remember, all of these stories were written,
shot, and edited by students like us.
We hope you've enjoyed watching them
as much as we've enjoyed sharing them with you.
Make sure to tune in to next week's episode
for more proof that Hawaii students HIKI No.
Can do.
Broadcasts of HIKI No are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo. And by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI No.